High School DxD is a series that is most well known for its fan service. Most of the women in the show have massive breasts, and the main character is a pervert who loves breasts. So many have assumed that this show is nothing more than fan service and deem it as your average harem anime slot, which I understand why. Pretty much every harem anime sucks. For the most part, there's probably some hits and some gems there somewhere. But it's usually just some pathetic dude with no redeeming qualities who has all the women in the show falling for him out of nowhere. And of course, the main character in the question also gets some stupidly OP ability with no interesting drawbacks. At a glance, High School DxD seems to check all these boxes. But take a deeper look, and you may just find something more. So come with me, and let me show you what High School DxD does to ascend beyond its peers. There are plenty of things I want to talk about in this video, but I want to get this out of the way first. The main character, Issei Hyodo. As I said before, Issei is introduced as a pervert who loves big breasts, and many people, including even some High School DxD fans, only see him as that. But in reality, there's a lot more to his character than most other harem anime protagonists. While he's introduced as a pervy, simple-minded, and kind of pathetic, that isn't all we see of him. In most harem anime, the character being pathetic and weak would just be played for laughs and gags until the character becomes some super powerful badass out of nowhere. Here, it serves his actual character arc, and Issei is a character ridiculed with insecurities and trauma that haunt him throughout the entire series, up until season 4, basically. He is always doubting himself and his abilities. He doesn't see himself as worthy of the Red Dragon's power. This is due to his constant failures and the trauma from Rainier in the first season. Rainier broke him so badly that his self-confidence shattered, which it took a long time for him to recover. Eventually, he regained his confidence in the finale of season 4. We see a reborn Issei, one who has developed as a character, and at the end of the day, it all comes down to that. Most harem anime protagonists lack development. Issei doesn't have that problem. I think this is what makes Issei a better protagonist than most other harem anime protagonists. There's also the fact that outside of his pervy actions, he does actually have a likable personality, although he is displayed as weak throughout a lot of the series. He isn't just some floor mat you can walk over. This motherfucker is a shit talker to the core. It kind of makes me wish that he was less perverted in some ways, so more people could notice the better parts of his character. But enough of Issei. Let's get into another reason why High School DxD is more than just your average harem anime. The side characters. Yes, some of them have their problems, especially the female ones. Often they depend a little bit too much on Issei, and their characters become a little bit too reliant on Issei, like you see in other harem anime where the female characters become too reliant on the main character and stuff like that. But there's some exceptions. But while some side characters could be better, this series has a surprising amount of interesting and awesome side characters for a harem series. In most of these series, the male side characters are usually either not interesting or just completely sidelined from what I've seen, and usually all the female side characters are just there to obsess over the main character to fulfill the promise of the male fantasy that is the main selling point of most harem series. But the side characters here managed to be one of the best parts of the series. Volley, Azazel, Saji, Cyberorg, and Kiba are all awesome side characters that are relevant to the plot of the story and gets their time to shine. In Kiba's case, he literally gets an entire arc all about him, which is more than I can say for pretty much any side character from any other harem anime that I've seen. Like, I could be wrong, I haven't seen that many harem anime, but from what I've seen from most of them, most of them don't have this, and most of them just kind of, they kind of suck. Even though I've criticized the female side characters of the show, I think they are still handled a bit better than in most harem series. While they begin to rely too much on Issei, they all still have decent development as characters. And then you have Zenobia, who actually doesn't really have the same problem as the rest of the harem. She actually is relevant in fighting situations and isn't reliant on Issei that much compared to the rest of them. So I think she's one of the best characters in the show, in my opinion. I think, despite, how things usually go up to characters, the female characters become like more submissive, or like more like dependent and obsessed over Issei more. Like Zenobia is still likes Issei, but like it's not like it doesn't take over her character as much as it does for someone like Akeno or Rias, like something like that, But she doesn't have that same problem. And I think she's one of the best characters in the show because of that. And now let me get to the final reason why I think this show is better than most other harem series. The plot and world building. I'm going to kind of just mesh these two together in one category. High School DxD's world isn't something super brand new in the slightest. It's a story about devils, angels, and fallen angels. There are probably dozens of more series with the same content, probably even dozens in that harem genre that have that kind of premise. But in High School DxD, there's actually effort put into making the world, the power systems, and the plot. We see multiple different factions, all have different goals for the world. We see many different ideals from many different characters. The world feels alive. The world feels developed. That's kind of cool that they expand the world even more to focus on other mythologies as well, like, you know, Norse mythology. And the world of DxD just feels really big and has a lot of potential for really interesting stories. The power system, while not being like super complex, is interesting. And the Sacred Gear system is full of many super cool Sacred Gears, which makes for some interesting matchups at times. But aside from this world, the plot in general is pretty solid. It's nothing groundbreaking. You're not going to find some Shakespearean masterpiece on the level of, like, you're not going to find a masterpiece on the level of Evangelion. Like, that's just not happening. It's not the kind of story, man. But it keeps you interested throughout the entire story. It's executed pretty well for the most part, and helps develop Issei as a character alongside the rest of the main cast. While most of the antagonists aren't super complex, they are still entertaining and have a lasting effect on the other characters. And then you even have villains like Cao Cao, who actually are complex and super interesting. Cao Cao is actually so cool. I actually really love Cao Cao. He's like, I think he's the best villain in the show. Cao Cao, I really like Cao Cao. Cao Cao's a really cool villain. I think, yeah, he's the best villain in the show by far. I mean, I guess if you want to count, like, I still think he's a better villain. Like, I guess Cyberorg and Volley are really just antagonists, and of like their of season 2 and season 4 specifically, they weren't really villains. Like, I mean, I guess you could say Valley was a villain, but like not really. He kind of like doesn't really do that much villainous stuff. So, like, and he helps Issei now. So, really, I think Cao Cao is the best villain in the show. That's basically what I'm trying to say. I think I've explained a good amount of what I like about the series and why I think it's more than just fan service and better than most harem anime. I could have talked for way longer and explained everything I love about the series, but I don't want to make this video too long. While High School DxD isn't perfect, and while it's certainly not a masterpiece by any means, like I said earlier, it deserves credit for what it does well. And so, if this video can convince anybody to start High School DxD, that's awesome. Anyways, that's probably where I'm gonna end off the video there. I hope y'all like this video. You know, do all the things. You know, subscribe, like, share a comment, share the video with your friend, or leave a comment. That was, I don't even know what the fuck I just said there, but yeah, I know it's been a couple weeks before I posted again. I think it's been 2 or 3 weeks since the last video. Like, I know my schedule. Look at me, I'm being inconsistent again, but I've been doing other stuff. You know, just started my new job like a month ago, and I've also been trying to take, as of like this week, I've been trying to, I've got my streaming under control. I'm trying to get more into streaming. I'm almost at affiliates. That's really cool. So if you want to follow the Twitch, you know, go right ahead and follow the Twitter. While you're at it, you know, let's grow all the platforms. But I'll try to get more videos out. I'm thinking for my next video, I might do like a hypothetical for like a High School DxD fighting game roster, and build my own roster for what I'd like to see in a High School DxD fighting game. I think that'd be really cool. Like, if you've ever watched Authority Arcade and watched their build the roster videos, it's kind of what that's like. And I kind of did something like this with my MVC4 video, where I was like, oh, this is what I think, and this is what I would want for an MVC4, and what their character roster would probably look like, what I think would be cool for an MVC4 character roster. And you know, so I figured I'd do something like that again. You know, that video did do really well. Like, over, like, it was like 1.2k views, so, like, you know, shit. Hey, you know, maybe lightning strikes a bottle a second time. Is it lightning strikes a bottle? I don't know if that's the phrase, but lightning in a bottle. Maybe lightning will be in a bottle a second time. I don't know how the fucking phrase works, but and after that, I might review more fan fictions. I've gotten actually quite a bit of requests to review fan fictions, and you know, it's actually kind of cool that like I'm actually building a community and an audience that actually is sending me stuff to their work to review. I think that's really cool, you know. So yes, that's what I've been doing. So that's what I plan on doing. So, you know, more High School DxD content. I might make more content of other stuff. Like it just depends on what I I feel like doing. Like if you're just like, if you're ever wondering, oh man, you've been making a lot of DxD content recently, we haven't seen a video on the other anime for a while. It just depends on like what I'm really into in the moment. Like if I'm really into DxD, I'm just gonna make a lot of DxD content. If I'm not, I'm gonna focus more on other anime. But yeah, and I'm thinking about making another channel. I said I was gonna do a comic channel a while ago, but I don't know if I'm still doing that. But I'm thinking about doing a channel to talk about video games I like, particularly Capcom games. And it's gonna be kind of like last year, for that couple months period where I switched from anime to Capcom games. Like I switched topics to that. But I'm gonna make it. I might make a whole separate channel so that I don't have to worry about the algorithm on here. And I kind of want to talk about games like Darkstalkers and stuff like that on there. So that might happen, but we'll see. Anyways, hope y'all enjoyed the video. I'm gonna get out of here, and yeah, peace.